Welcome back to the deep dive. We're looking at ways to unlock that creative spark we all have inside.
Yeah, the mission today is really about living a life driven more by curiosity, less by fear, and finding those, you know, treasures hidden within you.
Exactly. And our guide for this is Elizabeth Gilbert's fantastic book, Big Magic: Creative Living Beyond Fear.
It's such a great read. And her core idea is pretty radical, isn't it? That creativity isn't just for, like, the chosen few artists.
Totally. She says it's inherent in everyone. If you know her from Eat, Pray, Love, you'll recognize that voice. Super conversational, insightful, like chatting with a really wise friend.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're diving into 6 big themes from the book: courage, enchantment, permission, persistence, trust, and divinity.
Each one gives you a different angle on how to build that creative life.
So let's start with that first big hurdle, shall we? Courage.
Right. Gilbert really frames the whole thing around this one question. Do you have the courage to bring forth the treasures that are hidden within you?
That's powerful.
It is. And she argues that saying yes to that, that's the start of what she calls an enchanting existence, not just, getting by.
And what I love is how she broadens the definition of creative living. It's not just painting or writing for a living.
Exactly. She tells that great story about her friend, Susan, right, who took up figure skating again at 40.
Yeah. Not to compete, just for the sheer joy of it.
Mm-hmm. And Gilbert says a creative life is an amplified life. She says it's a bigger life, a happier life, an expanded life, and a hell of a lot more interesting life.
It really takes the pressure off needing external validation, doesn't it?
It totally does. But okay, let's be real. There's fear. Big time.
Oh, yeah. The fear of not being good enough, of rejection, of just looking silly.
Gilbert tackles that head on. She says, look, fear is this deeply ancient instinct, but it ain't especially smart.
Huh. I like that.
Me too. And crucially, she points out, everyone feels it. It's universal. So the goal isn't to not feel fear.
Right. It's not about fearlessness. It's about bravery, which is different.
Precisely. Bravery is doing it anyway. And she has that amazing road trip metaphor.
Oh, I love that one. Can you unpack that a bit?
Yeah, so she imagines creativity as driving the car on this road trip.
Yeah.
And fear. Fear's in the car, too. It's allowed.
Yep.
But UT.
Okay.
Fear has rules. It's not allowed to drive.
Mhm.
It can't touch the radio. It definitely doesn't get to navigate.
So fear comes along, but it's basically stuck in the back seat with duct tape over its mouth.
Pretty much.
Mm.
It's about coexisting. Letting creativity lead, even while fear is making noise. It's not about eliminating fear, which is impossible anyway, but managing it.
That feels so much more achievable. And the reward, she says, is just a richer life, bringing those hidden treasures out.
Absolutely. It's worth wrangling the fear for that.
Okay, so if we manage to find that courage, where do these creative ideas actually come from? This is where Gilbert gets a bit, well, magical.
Yeah, this is the enchantment part. And it's fascinating. She proposes that ideas are almost like entities, disembodied, energetic life forms.
Whoa.
Yeah. And they're actively looking for human partners to help them become real,
Yeah.
manifest in the world.
She talks about getting an idea for a novel about the Amazon, right? And feeling like she was falling in love.
Exactly. That physical reaction, hair standing on end, feeling dizzy, like the idea itself chose her and presented itself.
So when an idea like that shows up, you have a choice.
That's key. You can say yes or no. And she points out most of us, unconsciously maybe, say no all the time. We just don't grab onto the inspiration. But saying yes, that starts the collaboration. You and the idea working together.
Which kind of blows up that old suffering artist cliche, doesn't it?
Totally. She argues for a healthier way, working with inspiration, joyfully, humbly, not fighting it, not needing pain to create.
Cooperating with it.
Yes. Choose a different way to cooperate fully, humbly, and joyfully with inspiration. That's her advice.
But what happens if you ignore an idea or get distracted?
Well, she learned that the hard way with her Amazon novel idea. Life got in the way, partner issues, in another book.
Right, committed.
Yeah. And the idea, it moved on. She says they can move on swiftly, with humility and grace, if they aren't being worked with. They find someone else.
That's humbling and a little bit scary.
It is. But it also leads to her idea of multiple discovery.
Ah, yeah, the Ann Patchett story. That's wild.
Isn't it? Finding out her friend Ann Patchett was writing a novel with a remarkably similar Amazon theme at the same time.
Wow.
It shows ideas can land in multiple places at once. And Gilbert's take is, don't be jealous. Just marvel at the weirdness of it all. Celebrate that the idea found a home.
takes the ego out of it a bit.
Definitely. So it's not just about waiting for this magic, though. There's work involved, too, right?
Oh, absolutely. She calls it hard labor versus fairy dust. You need both, the discipline and the inspiration.
You have to show up consistently, do the work so you're actually there when the fairy dust decides to sprinkle itself.
Yeah, her commitment is just to collaborating to the best of my ability with these forces she can't even prove exist.
So inspiration is kind of an unpredictable visitor. You need the work ethic regardless.
Mm-hmm. Be ready for the magic, basically.
Okay, so you found courage. You're open to enchantment. But what about those voices, internal or external, saying, who do you think you are?
Ah, yes. The permission slip we think we need. Which brings us to permission.
And Gilbert's message here is just so clear and liberating. You do not need anybody's permission to live a creative life. Period.
It's already in you. It's a human impulse.
Right. And she talks about her parents, how they just did their creative things without asking anyone. Her dad with his side projects. Her mom shaping her world.
They modeled it, so she didn't feel like she needed external sign-off. I love her line. I suggest that you remove the suggestion box.
Yeah. Stop listening to the critics, internal and external.
And this idea extends to decorating yourself, right? Not just clothes, but experiences.
Yeah, like her neighbor Eileen getting tattoos just because they felt right, expressing her inner world. It's about making your life vibrant for you, for the joy of it.
That connects to what she calls creative entitlement, which sounds maybe a bit arrogant at first.
It does, but it's not. It's the deep down belief that you are allowed to be here, and that merely by being here, you are allowed to have a voice and a vision of your own.
It's fundamental self-worth applied to creativity. It lets you take risks.
Exactly. Overcoming that I'm not worthy voice. And she also distinguishes between originality and authenticity.
Mm-hmm. We get so hung up on being totally original.
Yeah, but Gilbert argues authenticity is way more important. Just express what's true for you. Even if it's been explored before, your take is unique because it's yours.
That's really freeing. And so is her point that your creative work doesn't have to be world-changing?
Oh, absolutely. It doesn't have to save the world. Sometimes it's just creativity. The joy it brings you is enough. That release is huge.
It really is. Okay, so you've got courage, enchantment, permission, but creativity takes stamina, which leads us to persistence.
Yes, and Gilbert is kind of the poster child for this. She talks about making actual vows to herself at 16.
Vows.
Literally. Vows to write forever, no matter what, regardless of the result. And crucially, she vowed never to expect her art to pay the bills.
Wow. That's intense. So her deadline was...
Never. She just committed to the practice for life.
And she stuck with it through everything.
Yep. Writing daily, even through chaotic times. And she has this killer line. Frustration is not an interruption of your process. Frustration is the process.
Oof. Okay, so that reframes things. Frustration is part of the deal, not a stop sign.
Exactly. You just keep showing up. And it's never too late. Think of Winifred.
The 90-year-old expert on ancient Mesopotamia. What an amazing story.
Right. Proof positive you can pursue passions at any age.
But showing up means dealing with the less glamorous parts. Which brings us to the shit sandwich.
Yes. Her very blunt, very true concept. Every pursuit, creative or otherwise, has its downsides, its unpleasant bits you just have to tolerate.
The tasks you hate, the discomfort.
Yeah, and real commitment means choosing which particular shit sandwich you're willing to eat for the sake of your passion.
You got to pick your poison, basically.
Pretty much. And to make it easier to swallow, she championed her day job ethos.
Right, keeping a regular job so the art doesn't have to make money.
Exactly. It protects the joy, keeps it from becoming a burden. You can always make your art on the side, she insists.
And work with what you have, that paint your ox idea.
Finding creativity, even in humble circumstances, using the resources available. Don't wait for perfect conditions.
I also love the treat creativity like an affair advice.
Me too. Give it that secret, devoted time and energy. Prioritize it with passion. It fuels the connection.
Which is the opposite of getting bogged down in perfectionism.
Oh, definitely. She rails against that. Her mom's wisdom. Done is better than good.
A classic.
It is. And she talks about fear in high heels.
Yeah.
That perfectionism is just fear looking fancy. Celebrate the crooked houses, the imperfections. Just finish the thing.
Get it out there, which is easier when you realize.
Nobody's thinking about you. Ha ha.
It's so true. People are wrapped up in their own lives. They aren't scrutinizing your every creative attempt.
It's incredibly liberating. Just do your thing. Who cares?
And ultimately for her, Success isn't about fame or fortune. It's about the dedication, right?
Absolutely. Success is unpredictable. True worth comes from devotion to the craft. See it as a vocation driven by love, not a career chasing money.
So when disappointment hits, because it will,
You persist, unless, as Richard Ford said, it brings only pain. But if it's your thing, if nothing else feels right, you must keep trying. You must keep calling out in those dark woods for your own big magic.
calling out for big magic, that leads perfectly into the next idea, doesn't it? Trust.
It really does. This is about believing in a kind of reciprocal relationship, trusting that creativity, the universe, whatever you call it, it loves you as much as you love it.
That feels like a big leap for some people.
It can be. She uses Dr. Robin Wall Kimmerer's question to environmentalists. Do you believe that nature loves you in return?
And most say no, right? Which is weird when you think about indigenous perspectives.
Exactly, there's a disconnect. And Gilbert says artists often feel the same way about creativity, that it's indifferent, even cruel.
Like the muse is this tormentor figure,
Yeah.
which feeds into that suffering artist narrative again.
Right. The idea that you need pain for great art. She mentions Mailer, Roth, people who seem to embrace that.
But Gilbert pushes back hard on that.
She really does. She shares Katie Arnold Ratliff's journey away from believing discomfort is necessary for valuable art. Gilbert refuses to fetishize suffering.
She says choose love instead.
Yes. Build your creative house on love, not a battlefield. Positive emotions fuel creativity, she argues. It's a conscious choice.
And she embodies this with her stubborn gladness about her work.
Writing joyfully, regardless of how it's received. And she also brings in trickster trust.
Okay, what's that? Sounds fun.
It is. It's playful, adaptable, experimenting without getting hung up on results. Like Brene Brown testing stories on Friends First Low Stakes, just trying things out.
Lightening up, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Lighten up. The process itself is sacred, not just the final product. And remember, it ain't your baby.
Don't be too precious about the work. Let it evolve.
Which also ties into her thoughts on passion versus curiosity.
Right. We're always told to find your passion, which can feel overwhelming.
Totally. Gilbert suggests curiosity is a gentler, more accessible starting point. Just follow those little sparks of interest.
Like her gardening leading to a novel idea.
Yeah, the scavenger hunt. Small curiosities can lead you to big things unexpectedly. Less pressure than waiting for some grand passion to strike.
And when things don't work out, how do you react?
With curiosity. Instead of good or bad, just think, that's interesting.
Takes the sting out of failure.
It does. Fosters resilience. Helps you avoid the hungry ghost of the ego needing constant praise or despairing over criticism. Focus on the wonder, not the win-loss column.
And if you get stuck, inspiration dries up.
Do something else. Engage in totally different activities. Like Clive James painting bikes for kids when he hit a wall. Get out of your own head.
It often works, doesn't it? The answer comes when you stop looking.
So often.
Yeah.
It all comes down to having fierce trust in the process. Committing, showing up, regardless.
Like that little kid in the lobster costume.
Oh, I love that story. It's just embracing your creation, homemade and maybe a bit weird, and wearing it proudly. Participate fully, without shame, because you are worthy, dear one, regardless of the outcome.
Wow, that's a powerful place to land. Which brings us to the final section, divinity. This feels big.
It is, but maybe not in the way you'd expect. She uses this incredible example from Bali about their traditional dance.
Okay.
Originally, it was purely sacred ritual. Then tourism came, and they started performing adapted versions for visitors,
Right.
which, caused some Westerners to clutch their pearls about authenticity.
Right, the whole selling out argument.
Exactly. But the Balinese priests, they got creative. They developed new, specifically non-sacred dances just for the tourists, kind of like placeholder dances.
Okay, so they separated the sacred and the tourist versions?
Initially, yes, but here's the magic. These new dances, created almost as a practical solution, started evolving. They became these incredibly beautiful, powerful performances in their own right. So powerful, in fact, that they started evoking this profound sense of, well, divinity, unexpectedly.
Wow. So what happened then?
The priests recognized it. They saw the sacredness that had emerged, and they actually brought these new dances into their religious ceremonies. They became sacred.
That completely turns the Western idea of sacred versus profane on its head.
Totally. It shows how fluid these things are. What's sacred can change, emerge from the seemingly mundane, if you're open to it. The divine spark can show up anywhere.
So creativity isn't this pure, untouched thing. It's messy, adaptable.
Exactly. Which leads to her final point about paradox. Creativity, she says, is sacred, and it's not sacred.
Both at the same time?
It's profoundly important, and it's utterly insignificant. It's deeply personal, solitary work, yet it connects you to something bigger. It's terrifying, yet it demands courage. It's a burden, and it's a privilege.
Holding all those contradictions.
Yes. Her final invitation is basically, make space for all these paradoxes to be equally true inside your soul, and I promise, you can make anything.
Just allow it all to coexist.
Yeah. And then return to your work calmly, because those treasures that are hidden inside you are hoping you will say yes.
What a place to end. So we've journeyed through so much today. Finding courage, embracing enchantment, giving ourselves permission.
Cultivating persistence, building trust in that creative relationship, and finally, understanding the paradoxical divinity of it all. It's quite a map.
It really is. So maybe the thought to leave everyone with today is this. What specific hidden treasure inside you is just waiting, hoping you'll finally say yes?
How can you make a little space courageously for your own big magic, starting today?
Yeah. Go approach whatever calls to you with that spirit Gilbert talks about, that playful persistence, that fierce trust. Go make something.